2022. A warp drive is one of the technologies Musk is examining as it promises to cut the journey time by order of magnitude. But what exactly is warp drive, and how quickly can it assist Musk in putting people on Mars? Musk has been pressuring SpaceX to accelerate the building of the Starship, and he even requested his engineers to forgo their Thanksgiving weekend to address an issue with the spaceship's Raptor rocket engine. While some of the employees and non-SpaceX personnel working over the weekend are concerned, Musk, who has slept on the production floor of his firms before, is unconcerned. Musk wants to build the spacecraft as quickly as possible because, although NASA is willing to wait until 2033 to send a human to Mars, Musk wants to do so by 2026, which is just 5 years away. While some may consider Musk's objective as overly optimistic, the billionaire CEO has a worst-case scenario of people landing on Mars by 2031, which is still 2 years earlier than NASA's best plan. Apart from that, Musk believes that humans have a window of opportunity to become interplanetary and that this is the first time this has been conceivable. He wants to take advantage of the opportunity as soon as possible since he doesn't know how long the window will be open. When preparing to transport 1 million people from Earth to Mars in a short period of time, there are various factors to consider, which we'll go over briefly. The first point to note is that merely having a lot of money would not send you to Mars, as Musk stated during a recent interview with Lex Fridman. Even with $1 trillion, you can't go to Mars right now. You need the correct technology, such as the spaceship that SpaceX is developing. Even with the best technology, space travel is costly, as is everything requiring rocket launches. This is due to the nature of rockets, which are often one-time use vehicles. As Elon Musk pointed out, this mode of using rockets is ridiculous. It's like buying a new car every time you want to go out. It's not only expensive, but it's also complicated because you need a new car built to go out. Most people won't be able to afford going out if that's the only way to use cars, which is sort of what you get with space travel today, where only the ultra-wealthy can indulge. Obviously, that won't work for Musk, who claims that there is a specific cost per ton to go to Mars that will ensure the city established there can sustain itself. Besides, there may not be enough ultra-wealthy volunteers willing to relocate to Mars, so the price has to come down for most people watching this video to even consider it. However, if there's one company that can reduce the cost of space wandering, it is SpaceX, which already has a reusable rocket, namely the Falcon 9. This brings the launch cost to between $15 and $20 million without accounting for overhead. But with a reusable spacecraft like the Starship, Musk claims you can reduce the cost by a factor of 100, meaning you could have launched for under $2 million. This is the cost of orbit. Obviously, the cost of Mars will be higher, but if you do the math by dividing the total cost by the number of people the Starship can carry, which is between 70 and 100, a trip to Mars could cost between $100,000 to $200,000 US. However, even if you get the best deal, there is another element to consider before visiting Mars: time. In addition to astronomical costs, is another barrier to deep space drawings. As stated in this video, you should budget at least 5 months of your life to travel to Mars, which could extend to a year depending on when you take off. Now, what could happen if you spend 5 months in space? The journey will take a physical and mental toll on you. It is not a good idea to spend 5 months in microgravity conditions because you will lose bone density and you may suffer from other health problems. Not only does your muscle mass and strength decrease, leaving you weaker, but you also have to battle with radiation, which is abundant in deep space. And if the spacecraft is not adequately insulated, you will face further health concerns. You could even become sterile, unable to contribute to the new Martian community's gene pool. And do you really want to risk anything going wrong while you are alone in space? Because the longer time you spend in space, the greater the chances of something going wrong. Best thing to do is to spend as little time in space as possible. What would it be like to be cooped up in a spacecraft with more than 90 strangers? Tempers will flare and fights may erupt. In fact, Musk recognizes this and wants to reduce the trip to Mars to a month or even less. This is where a very powerful spacecraft that moves quickly comes in. Granted, Musk already has or will have the Starship. It is the most powerful rocket ever built, with the ability to launch more than 100 tons of cargo to orbit at a very high speed. But an even faster spacecraft will serve Musk better. One technology that holds lots of promise is warp travel. While Neil deGrasse's request was made in jest, Musk's response was interesting and shows how he knows how to apply the technology best. He said that setting up a city on Mars and regularly co-creating with other humans is best to use warp drive technology. In interviews, Elon Musk has stated that a Mars settlement will spur the development of warp drive technology. Now, how does warp drive work? It compresses the space between you and the star or planet you want to visit by creating a bubble of flat spacetime around the spaceship and curving spacetime around that bubble to reduce distances. This way, you are not going to the star, but the star comes to you. Negative energy is the only way to create negative energy because scientists have never seen a negative mass. A warp drive would use a large amount of mass to create an imbalance between particles and antiparticles to create negative energy. This imbalance results in negative energy density and creates the space-time bubble. However, the amount of mass required to create negative energy is impractical because a 100-meter bubble would require the entire universe's mass, which is a problem. Eric Lenz has released a study that proposes a solution to the problem of negative energy. He demonstrated how positive energy is adequate to build a warp drive bubble by utilizing hyperbolic spacetime instead of linear spacetime. This way, a warp drive would not require negative energy. How rapidly can a warp drive Starship move across space? It can travel at speeds faster than the speed of light. The nearest star to us, the Proxima Centauri, is between 17,076,000 years away from the Earth using today's rockets, but a warp drive Starship will get there in less than 4 years. In addition, a warp drive Starship will solve many of the problems Musk has to deal with while promoting his Mars project. For example, volunteers can quickly return to Earth if they change their minds, making a huge difference in adventures like the one Musk is planning. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. Comment down below, what do you think about this new warp drive? Finally, click on the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you liked our content to show your support, and press the bell icon so that you never miss a video from Tech Bombs.